So basically, we're going to do the seminar in two installments. First, Carlos will tell us about his application, what it is to apply to INSEAD, and then you will tell me more about yourself. Alors, Carlos, what is it to apply to INSEAD? Can you please share with us from the first day you went to class with Kevin up to the time that you have received an acceptance? By the way,
So
Happy New Year, Carlos. Huh? Happy New Year.
yeah, I was speaking, Dr. Hoover. I was speaking. Okay.
Happy New Year.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can I talk? Can I talk, Dr. Hoover?
Yeah.
Okay. So hello to all of you guys. This is Carlos here. I'm actually at INSEAD right now. I'm gonna guide you a little bit through my journey. I started with Kevin in the month of October of 2022. Okay, I had barely studied the GMAT before. It was like my first touching point with the exam, and well, I went to class with Kevin for 5 weekends. Okay, so it was the intensive course. I did that with him, and that kind of like set the discipline for me to like start studying by myself. That gave me like all the basic information, and I'll say like the core I'll say the core values of the exam, okay, or the most important point. And from then on, I continued studying by myself for 4 more months. I studied during the weekdays in the morning before going to work and in the weekends. Okay, I did that until March. On March, I took the exam. I got a 640, which was pretty disappointed for me because I was getting higher scores in the mock exams. I'll say actually the ones that I was doing in Kevin's office. And so I continue. I took like 3 weeks off because I was like burned out of the GMAT, and then I went again and studied for a month, and then I got a 660, and time was about to finish, and then the deadline was getting closer, so I had to apply with that grade. Okay. And from then on, after taking the GMAT, I guess like the journey is a lot shorter, and although it also takes a lot of time, I guess that the biggest milestone is the GMAT. So I worked on the application essays. Basically, yeah, I hired Dr. Hoover, and he was helping me with I wrote the essays, and then he was giving me feedback on the essays, motivation essays, and yep, and there's like 3 motivation essays, and I think I can't remember right now, but I think there's not 2 other recommendation letters that I actually wrote on behalf of my bosses. Okay, so how it worked is that I wrote them, and then they checked them, they changed whatever they wanted, and then they submitted. Okay, so that was like a month of work, a month and a half, and yeah, I took the TOEFL as well. I did that by my own, and yep, I mean, I know it's like a long journey and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, but it's definitely worth it. So I encourage you all guys to keep working because I mean it's worth it.
Basically, Carlos, if you don't mind, you got accepted to both INSEAD and IAC. Why have you decided to take INSEAD versus IAC?
Okay, you mean ISC, no?
Yeah. You got accepted.
Okay. Yeah. Because before Dr. Hoover, we already talked about this, but you said that I got accepted to LSE, and that is not true. I never applied to LSE, so I want to make that clear because I don't want a misunderstanding of Kevin's student. Okay, Dr. Hoover. Okay.
Yeah.
So I applied to ISE as well. Okay, there was my 2 target business schools. ISE requires a lower GMAT. Okay, so they told me like you have a 620 or something like that, you're okay. And I did the whole application. It's pretty. I guess it's a little bit more easier. The one at ISE required. Well, no, I think it was like the same number of essays. I think that I just spent less time in doing the IS application. And why I chose between both, well, I guess it's the experience, like living in Paris and in Fontainebleau and Singapore was more attractive to me. And being 1 year instead of 2, that was also more attractive for me. In addition, I believe that maybe in Spain, at the moment, INSEAD has a little bit more reputation in some industries. I wanted to apply after the MBA, so that was like the 3 main drivers.
Okay. I know that you don't have much time. I will have to ask you 1 or 2 more questions because you must be busy. So what is it like? When did you quit your job? And how did you prepare the arrival at INSEAD? Is there something specific to do except finding money? Before you arrived, what did you do? Did you take 1 month off, 2 months off? Tell me, what did you do once you
No,
You
I quit my job 15 days before doing the MBA. So
okay.
not really. You can you haven't. There's nothing you need to do before doing the MBA. So
Basically, you
so
left your
people don't
job.
have to worry about that.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you left your job December 20th, and after December 20th, you took 10 days to go back
The,
to move
in,
Istanbul.
maybe okay. The notification period in Spain is 15 days, 15 business days. So you need to notify before that. So I notified at the beginning of December, so I could do 15 days, 20 days. Normally, you reach a friendly agreement with your employer. So that's what I did. I reached a friendly agreement. I worked until the 20th, and then it's vacation. It's holiday season in Spain, so nobody works. Or not a lot of people work after the 22nd, 23rd of December. So yeah, I took basically the Christmas break. That's it. And then on the 2nd of January, I started the MBA. So yeah, that's basically it. But what I would like to do, Dr. Hood, if you allow me, is like handle the mic to Kevin's students, because maybe they have some questions or they have some doubts. Or I don't know. Like I'll be definitely happy
Yes, yes,
to
yes, of
answer
course. Yeah, yeah.
any questions you guys may have regarding the application, regarding the GMAT. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if any of you are interested in INSEAD or ESE, but I can definitely help you with that. I'll be glad.
What questions have you got for Carlos? Tell me. So what question have you got for Carlos? I don't know. Maybe
Any questions about applying to?
Kevin ask. Yeah, Kevin ask.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, I can hear you, Adrian. Yes.
Okay, so do you know, as you said, which is the lowest mark that they are asked for in the demand?
I think there's a Spanish guy here that got accepted with a 640.
Okay.
He's coming, although he's coming from Roland, he comes from Roland Berger, which I don't know if that, I guess that influences. But I think with us, I think there's two people with 640s at INSEAD that I heard of. And
Yeah,
it's really interesting at INSEAD
Pardon?
because it's really interesting at INSEAD that they don't require the same GMAT score for every nationality. So for Indians, for instance, it's crazy. It's like 720 or so. I don't know. I don't have the number, but the
740,
people I've spoken, they have a really high GMAT. But whatever, 640, I guess it's like the target grade minimum to apply. As far as I know from the Spanish crew that is currently doing the MBA.
Yeah. So basically, the fact is that yes, it depends on the nationality. For instance, yourself, Christina, what score did you get? 680, 690? What score did you get?
I got in the GMAT focus it was 655, so the equivalent is
700, yeah. So 700, so it's a very high score on the first attempt. Now, basically, have you got questions for Carlos? I'm going to ask you. For instance, there's Adrian. Adrian, what question have you got for Carlos? Because even if you want to go for America, whatever, you can ask him a question. But so what question have you got for Adrian? Adrian?
Adrian already asked the question, but Adrian, feel free to ask again.
Adrian, what question have you got for us?
Yeah. For example, how long did it take you to prepare for the GMAT? Because you were mentioning like several months. In total, why did it take so long for you? And how was your, I don't know, you started with the course, why first the course? How was your motivation throughout the period? How did you get to that final score? Can you reflect a bit more on your path?
Sure. So my journey began in September. I bought the books. Well, I borrowed the books from a friend. I started looking at them, and it required so much discipline, and it was like overwhelming, because you see like this huge book, you don't know where to start. I was just like doing exercises randomly, I'll say. So like actually going to Kevin was super useful because it actually like helped me to structure my study, to define a strategy. So I started that, like I forcing myself going to the course, to Kevin's course for this 5 weekends. But I guess it's what you guys are doing. So after that, so that was like the beginning of October, I'll say. I did October, half of November, and then in December I stopped. Okay, and I stopped because I had so much work that I couldn't handle it. I worked in a really demanding industry before joining INSEAD, and I was studying from 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. and then on the weekends 5 hours on Saturday and 5 hours on Sunday. That was what I was doing. I was doing exercises from the book, exercises from the online book. I did like thousands of exercises. I did gym. I went through all the videos of Gym and Ninja that I recommend if you haven't seen them. And yeah, I did that. So I did October, November full time. December stopped. I did like a little study in December. Then I continued in January, and in the January, February. Then I did the exam in March. Okay, so I guess it'll be 4 months-ish, 4 months and a half. I did the exam in March. I got a 640, which is what I told you. Then I studied 1 more month, and then in May. So I mean, I took the 3 weeks off. I told you, or 2 weeks off, more or less, because I was burned out. Those 2.5, 3 months of study, and then I took the exam again in May, and I got the 660 in May, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna make it to round 2, so I have to make it to round 3. And I recommend you that before that you keep in mind that after taking the GMAT and after you have your desired grade, the grade that you wanted, you need at least a month and a half, I'll say, in my opinion, to do the essays, to read them, to go through the recommendation letter, to prepare the strategy of your application. I mean, that's my recommendation for sure. So I don't know if I answered your question, Adrian, or do you want me to clarify? Or
Yeah. Alors, the question that I have for you, Carlos, you just arrived at INSEAD. So what is your first impression?
of INSEAD?
Yeah.
I mean,
Been here for 1, 2 weeks, so what
it's been like 2 weeks, well, a week and a half. I mean, it's crazy. This is just like working in United Nations, you know, like there's people from all over the world, different backgrounds, really, 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 really smart people, really interesting people. Like in Spain, I have like this feeling that people that want to do an MBA are only the ones that are working in consulting or that want to work in consulting, and they have like a finance background or a consulting background. Here you have people from everywhere that have done like really, really interesting stuff. My roommate is a pilot, and she's from I mean, not my roommate, the person that lives in my residence is a pilot, and she's working in the US as a pilot doing animal rescue, and then she's headed to an MBA. So it's just like crazy stories from everywhere. There's like a lot of entrepreneurs as well. I don't know, like you kind of like get to think outside of the box, like literally, because you have so many different inputs from people from all over the world, and I'm really, really, really enjoying it, really, like truly. And the days here are like 3 days in Madrid. Like you do so many things that it's just like amazing. That's why I encourage you all to study hard, because it's definitely worth it. Like I was on your side like months ago, and I was also like hearing people that were doing the MBA and stuff, and they were telling me this, but I can confirm because it's totally worth it.
Christina, you're currently applying. So Christina, we prepared the Kira Talent. By the way, you can check Kira Talent with us if you want, Carlos. So it's the last stage because we are done with the application, GMAT, etc. So what question have you got to Carlos? Maybe about Kira Talent? No, since you are taking the Kira Talent tomorrow. No?
Yes, I'm planning on going tomorrow or on Monday, either one of those days, because I only have until Thursday, I think, to submit it. I submitted the applications and the recommendations already. And what tips do you have on the Kira Talent interview, Carlos?
Now, can you explain what is the Kira Talent, Carlos? And can you
Kira Talent is basically recording yourself answering questions. Okay, so questions about diversity, questions about past experiences, questions, and you have like, what I remember is that they show you the question, you have like 20 seconds to prepare, and then you have to speak for like a minute, something like that. Or I don't know if it was 45 seconds. I don't remember the exact time. But for the Kira Talent, I recommend you having like 4, 5, 6 stories. I don't know. They were like themes where you could like use stories in different contexts. So first, I'll recommend you to record yourself a lot. I mean, practice, like just recording yourself and doing the actual exercise, because that would give you agility, which is like really important, like putting you on the spot and actually having done the exercise of, okay, I have this question. Now I have to make something up because I have just 20 seconds. And speak really clearly. I mean, it doesn't matter if you say 100 words or 200 words, but the 100 words have to be clear. Like they have to be able to understand it, because sometimes we're nervous, and I remember like practicing, I got really nervous sometimes, and maybe I was speaking too quickly, and I think that that may have that could have harmed my application, because it's really important that they actually get the message. And what they're looking for is a person that is structured. So if you are structured and say things that make sense, they'll be fine.
Alors, last question for you, Carlos, because you're busy, and now I'm going to ask questions student to student. What, if it's not too much to ask you that, about the financing? How do people finance in general in Spain? How did you finance? Is it an issue? Because INSEAD is quite expensive. 1 year without working, how did you manage? And how do you advise to manage when you come from Spain?
Half of the Spanish students are sponsored. Okay.
They
Half
come from consulting.
half are BCG, Roland Berger, McKinsey, Bain. Okay, that's half of the Spanish crew. The other half, different backgrounds. I mean, there's people that have saved money. There's people that like this is like a really personal question, Dr. Hoover. So I actually don't have an answer for you. I don't know what the rest are doing. I know that some have saved money and that's how they're paying it. I know some have family help, the financial help to pay it. But I'm not sure if, I mean, I think there's one that's taking a loan, but that's not like the common. That's not like a common thing. Okay, in other nationalities maybe yes, but among the Spanish group, I think that almost no one is taking a loan.
Okay, and how many Spaniards are there now in your intake? How many Spaniards? 10?
I mean, in my intake, it's like
Yeah.
it's been like the largest Spanish crew ever. I think we're 25, but we're 25 between Singapore and Fontainebleau. I guess that in Fontainebleau we are like 15 now or something like that.
Okay.
And they will be coming back. We'll go to Singapore. What?
Yeah. So it's a lot without being a lot. So yes, as Carlos said, when you come from consulting, basically, yes, the Roland Berger, the MBBs, you're sponsored, and of course, about 10 to 15 come from this company, and the rest they find different ways. Yeah, but paying is not an issue normally, and plus it's the advantage of INSEAD. It's a 1 year program. You are away from work just for a year. Okay. So Carlos, thank you very much for everything. Because I know that you're busy.
No, I mean, I'm busy, but if any of these guys want to text me or send me a message, you can have my phone number and you can text me. Like, feel free to ask the questions you want. I don't know if Cristina, if you're applying, you feel free to ask the questions you want. Okay.
Thank you.
To talk to you before the interview. So Cristina is a very strong candidate because she's an INSEAD graduate. She's working for, I don't remember which consulting company. IBM. And she's also, she had a very high GMAT score. So we are very hopeful that she'll get INSEAD. No problem. Plus, she's a woman. Thank you very much, Carlos, for everything.
What is a woman?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I will share your contact information. So basically now, I will be in Spain next week.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, Carlos. Bye.
So basically, I will be with you next week, and I asked also Cristina to come because Cristina is in. I knew that Carlos wouldn't have much time. Okay, so basically, you can also ask Cristina. By the way, Cristina, she will come back in June, July to share her experience because there is no doubt that she will get accepted to INSEAD as well. So basically, the question. So who is in the attendance? Who is there? So there is Adrian, for instance. What is your profile and where do you want to apply? Hello.
Okay, so I studied engineering. I am an ICAI graduate, and I've been working in IBM for 3 years and a half since I graduated from the master's degree in engineering. And I always wanted to do, since I was in the master's degree of engineering, I always wanted to do an MBA because, well, it is a great way to launch your career and to boost your career. And also because I started engineering, I would really like to get a base in finance and in management, something that I think my profile lacks because I studied engineering. So I know how to do derivatives and I know about turbines and motors, but not that much about finance. And I think to have a successful career, it is necessary to have that base. And I decided to apply, and well, my journey started that just like Carlos. I started looking at the GMAT. And actually, when I first attended the course, it was in September as well, in late September this last year. And my plan was I'm gonna take the GMAT and then we'll see. But I saw that it required a lot of work. Yeah, it was very useful to go to Kevin's classes because he teaches you a very methodical way of studying it, and it was very, very useful. And I thought, well, yeah, I'm going to invest this much time and money in preparing for the GMAT and doing the GMAT, then I will just apply. And that's where I met Hoover, and we started working on my applications before I took the GMAT. So I finished the course in late October, and we started working on the essays and the recommendation letters and all that stuff. And then in November, I was studying by myself, and I sat for the GMAT for the first time on December 1st. I didn't get the score that I hoped. I got a 585, I think I got in the GMAT focus. So it was like a 640, I think, or 650.
Yeah.
Yes, and so I knew I could do better. So I just started studying. I took a week break, and I started studying again. And I sat for the GMAT for the second time in late December before the holidays, and that's where I got the 655, which is a 710.
Yeah.
And Ravi, I just submitted the application. I just have to the gear interview, which is what Carlos was saying before. And that's it. I also applied to London Business School, and I am applying also to HEC, but that's I will do that after I submit the career interview. But my first option will be INSEAD.
And of course, so you see that many students want to apply to INSEAD because of the reputation of the school, and also because it's a one-year program. You agree it's enough, okay? So of course, if you want to go for a 2-year program, it's stupid to go to IAC or to LBS. Go to America. If you have enough money for 2 years, go to America. Even though LBS and IAC are very good schools. I'm sure that you have questions for us. So, for instance, Adrian, what questions have you got for us? What is your background and what questions have you got for us, Adrian? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, can I ask?
Adrian. Okay, and there's Maria. Okay, so first student, but I will be with you next week, so we can discuss. But what questions have you got? What is your background? So I don't know. Can you name the students, Kevin? Because I don't see their name. I see Maria, Adrian.
Yes, I'm Maria. Yes, I just had one question for Christina, and that is like, what did you do differently between your first and your second GMAT? Like, did you just practice more? You change your strategy, or what was it to get you a better mark?
I think that what happened in my first exam, it was that for some reason I didn't have a lot of confidence. I had prepared it very well, so it wasn't that I wasn't prepared. But I think that the lack of confidence made me feel very nervous. So what I did for the next time is to purchase all of the mocks, and during the 10 days before or so, I did one mock every single day. So to be like prepared for the stress that exam has, because it's not just doing it well, but the stress that you have, that you run out of time, that you have to decide you want to skip the question. So to manage that stress and that situation is also very key to be successful in the exam. So I think what I did differently is that I did a lot of mocks in the days previous to the exam to be used to the stress and be prepared when be with more confidence on the day of the exam.
Yes, of course. So Kevin, is Kevin with us still? Kevin?
I am here, yes.
So yes, in general, how many times do you students take the test? Because yes, we have to demystify. It's very rare that you get 750 on the first intake. Huh? Can you pretend that?
The median number of times is 2.
Yeah.
I would say maybe 20% do it once, 50% do it twice, another 15% do it 3 times, and the rest do it more than 3 times, maybe even 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Can I ask you
Don't worry.
a question?
Don't worry, it's not a big thing. Huh? And Maria, you have when will you apply, Maria? To which school will you apply? So the girl who just spoke, what is her name?
Maria.
Oh, Maria. To which schools do I want to apply?
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet, but I think in Europe I'm considering INSEAD, but I would like to apply for US, like Stanford.
Yeah.
But like, it's just I would love, but I don't think I can get such a good score on application.
So yes, of course, you need on the new scoring at least the score that Christina got. And you know there's a big difference between American and European schools. Is that for the American schools, you need even higher scores. Huh? You see, for instance, Carlos, he told you that with the 640, he has someone from Roland Berger who got in, and I'm sure that he can work. Okay, 640 will not lead you anywhere in America. Not even Michigan, not even Fordham, nothing. Okay, so in America, I had about 10 students from McKinsey, Ben BCG this year. They got between 680 to 700. Only 2 got Columbia. The others, they will study at INSEAD because simply their GMAT score is not high enough for a top US MBA. INSEAD is less demanding regarding that. Okay. Another student. With another student.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Paloma, and I wanted to ask Christina that where did you get the mock exams for the GMAT? Because I was trying to find it in the website.
Oh, don't worry. They're in the website MBA.com.
Okay. And I can
GMAT
download.
focus exams.
Okay.
I know you're not going to do an exam right now,
Mhm.
but if you, for some reason, you want to do an exam now, keep in mind that there are 2 GMATs. There's the class GMAT. Don't do that.
Mhm.
It's the GMAT focus.
Okay.
Good.
But basically what happened is that Kevin gave you book, and with the book that you have codes on the inside back cover page. You can do practice tests, and you receive 4 books from Kevin, and then you're allowed to get a free test as well with his books. So you have more than enough. Okay, Paloma, what do you want to study?
What I want to study?
Where do you want? Where, in which program do you want to study?
I haven't thought that yet. I still have like more years to go because I'm just doing the GMAT because I just graduated my master's and I just wanted to have it fresh since I.
So you fresh out of school, so you're better for the GMAT. Okay, so you want to go for US MBA or etc. What about your neighbor? You're right, neighbor. What about the neighbor? Do you have a question for us?
That would be Canada.
Okay.
Hello.
I'm Alejandro. What about me? Where do I want to apply?
Sorry? Where will you apply and what questions have you got for Cristina, Alejandro? So you, Alejandro, what is your first name? Alejandro?
Alejandro, yes.
Yeah, Alejandro, yeah. So what questions have you got for Cristina, Alejandro?
Any questions? Everything is very clear. Yeah.
Okay, and what do you want to apply, Alejandro? What will you apply?
I want to apply mainly to European schools. I think ESA will be my best option.
Good job. Yeah. And not INSEAD? INSEAD, no INSEAD, no LBS?
Yes. I also INSEAD, but ESA will be my best option at this moment. Yeah.
Okay,
but I have to do more research.
Yes. Anyway, I will write to you. I will be in Madrid next weekend, so I can meet you if you have any question. Your neighbor with a cap. What question have you got? Yeah. What is your first name?
This is Kevin.
I'm Kevin also.
It's another Kevin. So Kevin,
right.
What question have you got to Cristina or for Cristina?
So I actually have a question. It's based on a comment that Carlos said before. So when you talk about your nationality, I'm complete. For example, me that I have an American passport, but I'm from Spain. I've been raised here. I'm a resident in Spain. With which students would I compete? With the Americans or with the Spaniards?
First of all, when you compete with INSEAD, they will ask you your first nationality, your second nationality. Okay. So depending on which first nationality, basically you put your first nationality and your second nationality, and then they see who you really are. Okay. If they see that you are born in America because your father was in America when you were born, but you have lived all your life in Spain, they will consider you a Spaniard.
Okay.
Okay. So
All
of
right.
course it's a plus that you have an American passport because you say you can work in America, whatever. But if you were just born in America and you have lived all your life in Spain, they consider you a Spaniard.
Okay.
Okay. But with an extra mark saying, okay, he has a double nationalities. Of course, what I want to say is that it's very good to be American when you're real American. You see what I mean? For instance, like Kevin, who when he was 22, 23, had lived in Europe and in Canada, because they run out of Americans. Okay. but at the same time, they will never consider you an American. Okay? Because if you're American, you have a good chance of getting INSEAD easily, because Americans, they prepare 2-year MBAs. So few Americans want to go for a 1-year MBA. Okay? Voilà. So it's very easy when you're an American, but you're not an American for INSEAD. Okay? You know what I mean? Yeah. So where will you apply, Kevin? How old are you, Kevin? How old are you?
I'm 29.
29. So you want to apply
Yeah.
what to European program? Yes, program. Maybe it's time for you to go back to America since you're American. Why not study in America since you're American?
So a few years ago, I did a program, a young talent path program from INSEAD, and I actually got admitted. So already
Okay.
I already have a seat in INSEAD. I just but to gain the scholarship, I have to score more than 700 at GMAT. So here I am.
Okay, so you're right, and I'm sure that you, with a great teacher like Kevin, you will work. So someone raised his hand. So the person
that was
raised
Carlos, I think.
Carlos, Carlos. What question have you got, Carlos?
Yeah. So when considering going to INSEAD, there are 2 campuses in Paris and Singapore one. Which are the main difference? Do you know when comparing them, what will we take into account to go to one or the other one?
Christina, so what would you say here?
Well, what everyone told me is that where you start the program is not as important. The important thing is where you finish the program, because in the INSEAD program is divided in periods of 2 months. So, and for the last couple of periods, they recommend you to be in the campus where you want to work at. So if you want to study in Asia or in the Emirates or in Singapore, then you should finish the program in Singapore, because there are this recruiting and the interviews take place during those last months. And if you want to stay in Europe, you should really finish the program in Fontainebleau. When you apply to INSEAD, they ask you about your campus preference to start the program. But and you have to do the first 2 periods, so the first 4 months, you have to be in the campus that you are assigned to. But later you can just some people do like, I want to go 2 months to Singapore, and they can transfer to Singapore for those 2 months. And there are also like exchange programs in Wharton and in Kellogg and in American schools that you can go also there for 2 months. So it really depends. I think what you should really think about is where you want to work afterwards to decide where you want to finish the program. But I think the rest is not that important.
It's a very impressive answer, because I would have said exactly the same thing. So as Christina said, when you click, I want to do Singapore, you have to spend the first 4 months in Singapore. Okay, and after that you can study wherever you want. Okay, and there's also the possibility to study at Kellogg or Wharton. Okay, but you have to give your credit for that. So they will tell you, maybe Christina, once you're there, you'll explain to us. You'll receive a certain number of credits, and with this credit you can buy courses. So if you put all your credit in the Wharton, you can bet if you want. You will get you can study at Wharton. So of course, with INSEAD you could study in Pennsylvania, in France, and in Singapore if you wish. After that, there's a cost associated to that, and the more you travel, the more expensive it is. But yes, exactly. It depends. You'll have basically job interviews. So basically, you have to spend the last 6 months in the countries where you want to work. So you could spend the first 4 months at INSEAD in Singapore, as long as you spend the last 6 months in Fontainebleau. Okay. Of course, you being Spaniard, I don't know if you have the experience of Singapore, but it would be stupid coming from Spain to spend 12 months in Fontainebleau. What have you planned, Christina? What have you ticked? You have ticked Singapore or Fontainebleau?
I have ticked Fontainebleau, but I intend to spend at least a couple months in Singapore.
Okay. So by the way, the best thing, the question maybe that they want to ask is that what is the difference between the 2 campuses? Basically, the one in Singapore, in Fontainebleau, it's 120 kilometers from Paris. Okay, it's in a small city. It's in France. It's pretty cold. If you decide to go to Singapore, life is different. You imagine Singapore is not Fontainebleau. The campus in Singapore is 4 times smaller than the campus in Fontainebleau. And in Singapore, if you stay in Singapore, you'll be the only student there. Okay. There's some executive education. There's an executive MBA once in a while, but there will be only MBA students. If you go to Fontainebleau, you see that most of the students come for executive educations. There's also a big MIM class, so you will not be the only one. Okay, you'll be the most important core, but not the only one. Huh? But I would say that coming from Spain, it's go to Fontainebleau at least for 4 months. Huh? Okay, it makes more sense. Tell me, Kevin, you have a neighbor on your right. You have a question for us? What is your first name? Hello?
Me, I'm Elena.
Elena? Elena? Yeah. Hello, Elena. So what question have you got for Christina? Maybe you want to apply for INSEAD, for another school. What questions have you got?
I'm also in the situation of Kevin. I'm a YTP, so I have already secured a place at ESE, and just on the way to taking the GMAT. And what would be your best recommendation, Christina, to do the whole process, or also how did you get to consider what was the best school for you between, we talked about European, but also American. So what was your recommendation in choosing and all the process?
Okay, so when I started considering MBAs, I really wanted to stay in Europe because I did a one exchange program in the US and I really enjoyed it, but I decided that I would really like to work in Europe, in Spain, or maybe London, Paris, I don't know, but I would like to be close to Spain. So that was a personal choice, and that is why I decided to do the program in Europe. And also the programs in Europe are 1 year long, which is good because I didn't want to spend 2 years of my life doing spending the money in America when I didn't want to stay in America. I think it made no sense to me particularly. So and INSEAD is the go-to in Europe together with LBS and ISC. I didn't consider ISC because I would really like to go abroad to do the program. So that's why I ruled it out. And London Business School, I also applied to that, and it is a very good school too, but it's also very focused to finance. So I don't know if that would be the best choice for me. But of course, if I don't get into INSEAD and I get London Business School, I would definitely go to London Business School.
Okay, so basically, what I would say, you see, Elena, is that we have basically we have 3 types of students. We have students who want US only, students who want Europe only, like Christina, and people who want only good schools. If they get Columbia, they will be happy. If they get INSEAD, they will be happy. If they get Chicago, they will be happy. If they get LBS, they will be happy. We have different types of students. Okay, we have very few programs who go for the YTP. Even though I have a few more, we call that deferred MBA. We have I have about 10 from India who are applying for the YTP, and maybe we do the deferred MBA. They go more to America. So basically, what I would say is that it depends where you want to do your life. If you want to do your life in Spain and you want to have your network in Spain and you're happy here and it's a great country, stay here. But of course, it can be an opportunity for you to go abroad. Myself, I went to America. I didn't do an MBA, I did a PhD, and I'm very happy because it brought me a lot. Because unfortunately, after that, I was a civil servant, so I had to go back to France because I had a contract with my country, and I was not allowed to resign, and plus I will not do that. But of course, I was happy to have that because otherwise I would have never been to America. And it was a great opportunity. Of course, I lost all my papers. Now, if I want to go there, I have no papers. But it's a good thing to try. Now, as you know, the situation in Europe is not going to be very good in the coming years, and America is interesting. But of course, you live in a fantastic country. Every time I come to Spain, I say to Kevin how lucky he is, and I really mean it. But visiting America can be a good thing. What about the neighbors that you have that in the back of the class? What is your first name? Yeah, it's you. Yeah, it's you. Yeah, there were 2. They were hiding. So what is your first name? Your first name is Nico. What is your first name? Nico. Yeah, Nico.
Yes.
So what is the question that you have and to Christina, and what do you want to study, Nico?
Well, I'm mostly focused on US, especially Wharton. That would be my target school. And in terms of questions, I mean, more in terms of score of the focus, which should be a target, and especially for US schools?
Yeah, we say 665 minimum, 65, 675. Yeah. Yeah, you have a long way. As I told you, I had about 10 students from McKinsey, Ben, BCG this year. They all told me, yes, I'm a McKinsey, especially McKinsey. Difficult people to work with, McKinsey students. Difficult people to work with. They don't listen. And their score was too low. That's why only 2 got Columbia. The others didn't get. They got INSEAD because the score was too low. So be careful when you're a Spaniard. There are many students who come from consulting, okay, and they're not too keen on taking them, because the problem of students who come from consulting, they know that they are sponsored, they know that we have a job, so they are not as focused, as committed as the other students. Okay, Wharton, Harvard, Stanford, they don't really like this type of students. For instance, when we talked to Carlos, he said that half of the students are from consulting. No, but at the same time, if you're a good person, it's different. Half of the students are from consulting, or it's INSEAD. They try to fill in the class the way they can, because INSEAD is not Harvard. Okay, they're hungry for good students. But in the US, it's impossible that half of the Spaniards come from consulting. It's impossible. They will never allow that. Okay, because they want diversity. So it means that basically coming from consulting makes the job even more difficult for you. So that's why get a good score, because there are really so many. For instance, apply to round 1 and don't apply to round 2. Okay, and show that you're different, show that you're committed and you're interested in the school. Okay, because so many do that because they are paid, they are sponsored, don't really care. And I was talking to Mrs. Donna Levinson, who is the dean of admission at MIT, and she confirmed that to me. She said, consultant from Spain, not more than 10% for me, because they are not committed. So she said, we need them, but they are not the student that we're looking for, because they already have a job, they are not committed in the thing, they don't care about their grades. So be very careful. So that's why when you write your essays or whatever, show that you're different. You're not another PhD McKinsey consultant, because they don't want that at all. Okay. Myself being an Harvard graduate, I feel really uneat with these people. Okay. So if I feel uneat, my other fellow will feel uneat as well, because it's a matter of feeling. Well, that's my piece of advice. But I was not happy with the way they have behaved this year. Lack of commitment. Okay. And by the way, when you're an ICADE student, when you have 680, and when you work for McKinsey, getting INSEAD, it has, according to me, it has no value. Okay. Stay with McKinsey. You make money and you learn probably much more during this 1 year at McKinsey. Okay, going to Harvard, it's a different story, of course. You see what I mean? So work well on your essays, show them that you're different. Your neighbor on the right. Hello? Your neighbor on the left. So the one who are in the back with the I was you, Adrian. So basically, I will send you a general email to the group. Okay, I will be there next week. If you want to visit me, I will be more than happy to talk to you. So I would say, to be frank, I would say that someone like Christina, I'm not sure that she really needed me, but she worked with me because she felt more at ease. Okay, because she's a very good student, she got a good score. It will help her. Probably will get accepted to all the schools we apply to. Okay. Now, when your profile is not as strong, she's an ICADE student, she works for IBM, she has a 655, it's very important maybe to get some support to help you make the difference. Okay. Don't forget that it is a selective process, especially when you apply for the top schools. Okay. For instance, Christina, even in the 620, ISC will take her. You agree? Christina, even 620. But of course, when you start to target very selective schools, then you need support. Okay. Anyway, we'll see you next weekend or the weekend after. I will see. It was very nice to talk to you. Very lucky to work with Kevin. Okay, you're very lucky, and it's not because we are partners, because I really need it. Do what he tells you to do. As you know, I don't know what Carlos said, but he said he came to class for 1 month. But basically, Kevin gives you a class for 1 month, then you have practice material, then tutoring with him. Use the old package, and the package that you're given is more than enough to do well. Especially that Kevin will tell you that there's also practice questions that you can have access to with the book. So you have more than enough with what we could do. Okay. If ever you need TOEFL or IELTS material, I can give it to you. If you need, no problem. Send you an email. I will give it to you for free. We have an online library with TOEFL and IELTS material. I will be more than happy to see you. Write to me if you want to see me. Kevin, have you created a new group, or you still have the outbound group? When I want to
I
talk to them.
created a new group and I will invite you.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody in the group now, except for maybe Paloma. Good.
Yeah. It's funny because sometimes it's many men. Sometimes it's many men. Sometimes it's many women in classes. So now you have a nice breakdown. Okay. So I wish you good luck in the process. Anyway, you're in very good hands with our friends. So Christina will meet tomorrow for the INSEAD preparation class. And if you can invite me to the weekdays and weekend class group, Kevin, and I will write to these people to give them my feedback. Okay. Anyway,
I'll consider it.
You do very well. Yeah.
All right.
Okay? Together we'll do fine.
And if you guys have any questions, you can text me or send me to LinkedIn, or I would be happy to help you in any way I can.
I will send you the contact information both of Carlos and Christina in the SMS that I will write to you. Okay. Have a good day, guys. Okay, and happy New Year and lots of success. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. All right,
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next weekend.